Okay, guys, welcome back to Trading Indicators Explain, where we go over a whole bunch of different indicators, the math behind them, the logic behind them, how they're used, and how hopefully they can make your trading better. Again, if you're interested in the product that I'm using to showcase these and scan for these things and do all these things, link is in the description below. That helps out the channel, all that stuff. Let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about the Keltner Channels. A very, very popular indicator, just been added to the trade ideas charts. What we're going to do is go over the math behind them first, how they're using them and all of this. I always say this, but I think the math is very important behind Keltner channels and behind every indicator to make sure that you don't think that there is any magic behind it. I want you to understand exactly what they are and how they're calculated so they demystify, any sort of worry or is it a holy grail or anything like that. None of these indicators I recommend doing anything with on their own, but if you already have a trading plan built, maybe you can add them to it to help refine some things. So Keltner channel, just like the Bollinger Bands, was a moving average plus or minus 2 standard deviations. A Keltner channel is a moving average plus or minus ATR, average true range, which is just how much the stock moves in any given day. It says EMA here. Most calculations I found use an SMA, and so do we. I don't know why the Investopedia, which is where I get this data from, uses that, but that's just the way that is. So we're going to go into here and talk about what it looks like on the chart and how we can scan for it. So we have an average true range filter in. If you want to get fancy with custom formulas, I have videos for that. You can reach out to me. You can plus or minus ATR from that. Now, essentially, it's going to be the same thing. You pick a moving average, you add or subtract ATR from it, and then away you go. So you can see the ribbon that is being charted on the bottom, right? The upper band would be whatever moving average you pick. This one, for example, is a 10-period moving average plus 2 ATRs, or a 10-period moving average, subtract 2 ATRs. Usage. So the first one is trend direction, right? I really like this in the concept of trend direction, because same thing that people use moving averages for when they make sure, if it's in a sideways trend, I'm not interested. If it's an uptrend, I want to get in. If it's a downtrend, I want to get out or short. It's a good way to visually see that very easily, as opposed to just a moving average where you actually have the channel going around it. So here for Tesla, it was very obvious when it was in a sideways trend, and very obvious now that it's in an uptrend. The other thing that I've seen it used for, and I've studied in the CMT as well, is that it can be a kind of a whole trading plan built in, the same as we talked about with the Donchian channels. Again, all these videos, there'll be a playlist description down below, and you can see all of the different indicators we go through. You can use this as a trading plan when it comes to stocks that you are interested in for some other reason, right? You can't just do this that I'm going to talk about with every stock, and I'll talk about why, but you just can't do this with every stock and kind of hope that it's going to work. It has to have some sort of a logic behind it. So the buy for the Keltner channel is the first close outside of the Keltner channel. So for example, Tesla, you could look at this price action. You could say, okay, we have a really nice base going on here after an up move. I'm going to look to find a reason to get involved in Tesla if we're going to get out of this base. So instead of just picking a price and buying it there, you could say, if we hold outside of the Keltner channels, then we're going to take a look at buying it then. And we close. I don't have the exact chart on it, so it's either this red candle or the green one after. One of the two, we close outside. Now the stop, for a loose stop, people just say put it at the bottom of the Keltner channel, which basically you're saying for ATR, right? Another thing that I've heard of is that as soon as we close back inside the Keltner channel, you're out anyway. And that's why I put exit 1 here, which is one way of dealing with exits. The second exit, and the one that would hold for a longer period of time but would obviously get you stopped out for break even, or give back profits from the top way more, is looking at this second exit where you close outside of the bottom bound of the Keltner channel. So again, kind of like the Don Chan and kind of like the Bollinger Bands, you can build your own trading plan based off of these. But if you look back, right, Tesla broke out of the channel here, it broke out of it in here, it broke out of it here, and this one would have been okay. But just note that, if you're just trading something for the sake of trading it, there's going to be a lot of fires and misfires from here. So it may be something where you say, I want, I'm going to do my scan based off price and volume the way I normally do, and then kind of bring it in from there. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go over to the chart here and we'll take a look. Again, Tesla, the same kind of thing. You would still be out in this area, but let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at home. And you can see with home, you would have had a couple pretty decent trades here. You could have, if you were interested in this one for some sort of fundamental or other reason, you could have bought it in through here, and then you would have been out at this area, right? You could have bought it in through here. This one probably would have been break even. And then in this third one, you were in there. So it's a good way to catch these trends and any sort of a kind of a trend breakout system. So again, I hope you can add this to your own trading in some way that will help you guys out. And I will talk to you next time.